Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Programming Knowledge. And this is another video tutorial series. And in this particular series, we will be learning how to create contact form in PHP with MySQL, jQuery, and Bootstrap. So at the end of this video tutorial series, we will have this particular contact form with all these fields: first name, last name, email, and others. And we should be able to send email when we try to send or click on this button. So let's go ahead and create our new project. So I have created a directory contact form with index.php and also with custom.css files. So let's try to open up this index.php file in our code editor. So in here we have the empty index.php file. So I'll be pasting the base structure of our index.php. So now we have the HTML structure of our index.php. We have the title, contact form, and then programming knowledge. We have set meta attributes. We also included the Bootstrap minified CSS. So in this version, or we have included the version 4.1.3 CSS. And we also included a font from Google APIs. You can pause the video and try to copy all the contents here. And we also included this custom CSS that we have defined in our directory here. And then we have defined the div with class container and row. We also define column XL8, and inside this division we have defined H1 with the link for our website. So contact form tutorial from Programming Knowledge, and we also included the paragraph that says this is a demo for a tutorial dedicated to crafting working Bootstrap contact form with PHP and Ajax in the background. And before the closing body tag, we also have included different scripts. Say for example, we have included the jQuery minified.js. So again, version 3.3.1. Another script will be the popper.js with version 1.14.3. Another script, bootstrap.minified.js, and also the validator.minified or .min.js. We also have defined a script with contact.js as the source. So we will be creating this file later on. You can search for the CDN for these files, okay, to include in your project. jQuery, we have the bootstrap, we have the popper.minified.js, and also with the validator.min.js. You could search for this CDN in the internet and include that into this part right here, just right above the closing body tag. And inside this division, we will be putting in the form for our contact form. So I'll just go ahead and paste the contact form element. Okay, we need to indent this so it would be readable for us. So we have the form element with ID contact dash form. We have the method post, the action. Instead of contact.php, let us set this into index.php. And the role is form. We have also added div with class messages. And here are the controls. So div class controls. We will define another div with class row. And let's add another div with class column medium 6. And inside this division, we will be adding the form group div, and inside this div, we will be having the label for our first name. One of the most important tags here, the input for our first name, of course. we have the ID form underscore name with type text, name, which is yes, name, and class form control. Placeholder will be please enter your first name, and of course this is a required field. And also we will be having the div with the class help block with errors. Okay, the same thing with the last name. So column medium 6, form group, label for our last name, and input name. So we have input ID with form last name, form underscore last name with type text. We also have the name as the surname, class the same, form control, placeholder, please enter your last name, required field, and we have this help block again here. So div help block with errors classes, and we will add another row that will hold the second row, which will be for our email and the specific need that we are trying to request. So for example, we have request for quotation, request order status, request copy of an invoice, and other. So again, this is for email. We will define the div with form dash group class and label for email, and input ID for email, type email. The name for this field will be email, of course, and class is form control. Placeholder will be enter your email, of course, and required field again. And this will be for our help block if there are errors, also with errors. And here, this is a bit different from other fields. So we have defined the form group and label, and this will be the select or the drop down box that we will be seeing later in our form. So we have the first option will be empty, the second will be request for quotation, the third one will be request order status, and the fourth one will be this request copy of an invoice. We have another row for our message. So column medium 12, form group, label for our message with the for attribute set to form underscore message, which is this ID right here. So text area ID equals form underscore message. Name of this text area is message. Form control again. Placeholder will be message for me, and the standard help block with errors div with all these classes right here. And the last will be the submit button of our form. So div class column medium 12 and then input type submit class btn dash success btn dash send with the value send message. So save your file for now, and let's try to preview our index.php. So let's go ahead, go to our browser and navigate to this localhost slash contact form or whatever the directory you have created earlier. So in my case, that is contact form. So if I try to refresh this page, so we will have this contact form with all the elements that we have added. So the first name, last name, email, the specific request, and the message, and also the button right here. So in the last tutorial, we have laid out the basic structure of our contact form. We have created the form with the ID contact dash form method post, and action index.php. So we'll just change this into contact.php instead of index.php. And we also have defined the class or div with the class messages, wherein which we will display all the messages. If we have message such as errors and feedbacks coming from our contact form. So in this tutorial, we will continue working on with this contact form, and we will add the contact.php file. Okay, so we have created the contact.php file, and in this particular script, we will handle the sending of email. Okay, so we'll just open up the PHP tag here. So in the first part of this script, we will configure basic variables that we need. So the first one will be from, the second will be send to, the third one will be subject, new message from contact form, another one will be fields. So under subject, fields, and then the other one is OK message. The other one is error message. And let's just set default values for this. So the from will be the demo contact form, and with the demo at domain.com, we will just set the same for the send to variable. Okay. The OK message or the OK message will be contact form successfully submitted. I will get back to you. And the error message will be there were errors while sending the email. This field variable is of type array, and inside this we're gonna need to set few elements for name. The second one will be surname. Third is phone number or phone. Yes, phone. Or it's the other way around. So this will be phone, and this will have the capital P, and also will be the email. So this will be message. Okay. And in here we need to set the error reporting. This will be E, O, and the notice. Okay. But if you don't need the error reporting, you can just set this into something like error reporting, and then inside the brackets or parentheses is the value 0. Okay, and our sending logic should be wrapped around a try and catch block. Okay, exception and exception variable. So first we're going to check if the count of our post variable is not equal to 0, or meaning the size of our post variable is not equal to 0 or equal to 0, then we'll just throw exception. New exception. Form is empty. Okay, and below this line we need to define a new variable, which is email text. You have a new message from your demo contact form. Slash n, and here we'll just define or add a new for each block, and we'll pass in the post variable as key value pairs, and we're just going to check if the value or the key is set. So field or fields, and then the key, curly braces, open and close curly braces. If the fields with the key is set in fields variable, which is the array that we have defined above, then we need to concatenate our email text with the value. So fields, and then the key, colon, with the value, \n, and we need to wrap this with double quote. Okay, save our contact.php file, and we need to terminate this particular line. And we need to set the headers of our email. So headers equals array with content type text slash plain, and of course the character set will be UTF-8 -A. Okay, and then from dot from, and then reply to of course the originating email, and return will also be the from variable, which is the originating email. Okay, and then below this line we need to call on the method mail send to, which is the recipient of our email, the subject, and then the email text, and then we need to include the headers, semicolon, and then response array equals array, and type success. Message will be set the OK message that we have defined earlier. And of course, if there's an error or there's an exception, we could set the response array into something type danger, and then of course the message will be the error message that we have defined. Okay, and below this line we just have to check if the request is by Ajax, and then if the request is by Ajax, then return the JSON response that we have defined. So if not empty, the server and then HTTP X requested with, and let's just copy this. So server and then str to lower server HTTPX requested with equals. Let's just check if this is coming from XML HTTP request. Okay, and the next is to encode the response array, JSON encode instead of decode. So response array, and of course we need to set the header for this. So content type equals application or semicolon or colon application slash JSON and echo encoded. Okay, save our contact.php file. So in the last tutorial we have added the contact.php file or modified the contact.php file to actually send and process our message or recipient, subject, and all the fields necessary for our contact form. So in this tutorial we will be working on with this index.php, and we will be adding all the JavaScripts needed to process the sending of email. So if we try to go to the end of this file, we will see the script, which is contact.js. We need to add this contact.js file to our project. So we'll just go ahead and create the contact.js file. Okay, then save for now. So contact or contact.js. So in here we'll just need to add the function, shorthand function of jQuery of document onload, and we'll just select the contact form, and we just need to validate it. So validator, and we will also add a submit function for our contact form. So this will be that on and submit, and then function e, then let's just close this for now. Next is we need to check if the validator doesn't prevent form submit. So that's if the that prevent or is default prevented, and then open curly braces or open and close curly braces, and we need to specify our URL, which is contact.php that we have defined in the previous video. So contact.php, contact.php, and here we will post values to the URL. So let's just use the AJAX request with all the parameters that needs to set. So that is post. The type of this request is post, and the URL will be the URL that we have defined at the top, and the data will be coming from our form, of course. This, and then let's just serialize the form, and if the request is successful, let's just define a new function that will handle it. So that will be data, and of course the open and close curly braces. So as we all know that the data is the JSON object that we receive from contact.php. So we'll just build the message alert here, and we need to build a message alert here. So message alert, and this will be depending on the response coming from contact.php. So this will be the data type, and we need to set also the text. So message text, that will be also coming from our contact.php. So data message, and below this we need to set the alert packs for our feedback. So we need to define a div with a class alert. Okay, so I think we need to interchange this. Instead of double quote, we need to use single quote, and this will be the double quote also. And we need to add the type coming from our index, or I mean contact.php. So that will be the message alert, and also we need to add another class for this, which is alert-dismissible, and we need to add a button to this. So that's button, and of course the closing button tag, and inside this opening tag we need to specify the type, which is of type button, and class will be close, and data dismiss equals alert, and area hidden equals true, and we need to specify also the icon or the display for our close button, which is the times. Okay, we'll just close the div element for our message alert. So div, and we need to specify the message text. Okay, close this line with the semicolon. So right below this line, we need to check if we have message alert, and we have the message text. So if we have those two, we need to inject the alert into the messages, or that messages div, just the div that we want to, or where we want to display the message of our contact form. So contact form that find class message, or the div with the class messages, and we're just going to set the HTML into our alert box, and also the contact form will be, or we will need to reset our contact form. So that's reset, and open close parenthesis and semicolon. After this line, after the line for our Ajax, we just need to return false. So the next step is to test the project. We need to test our project locally first, and then we will upload this into the server later on. So let's go ahead and open up this project from our browser. So here we are at our browser, and we will try to check our contact form if it's working or not, because I'll be amazed if we don't have errors in our code. So first we're going to check if we have errors in our console. So click on this hamburger icon and web developer, and click on this web console. So as you can see, we don't have errors for this page. Okay, so it's a good thing. Now we need to test the form itself. So let's just type in some values here, and johndoe@gmail.com, specify request for quotation. This is for testing purposes only. Okay, and then click on this send message. So we have an error in our contact.php file on line 28, so we'll try to fix this. So looking at our code contact.php, in line 28 we have this. So instead of having this semicolon, we just need to delete this one and save our file and go back to our browser. We just need to save this contact.js also, so save. So we need to refresh our page and send a message. Okay, so we have failed to connect to mail server at localhost port 25, verify your SMTP, and so on. So basically this means that our contact.php file is working, but we don't have a working mail or SMTP setup in our localhost, so we need to upload this to our server. So before uploading, I did some tests, and definitely we have several keywords that we have mistyped. So for example, in our contact.php, so instead of str to lwer, so this should be str to lowercase, to lower, and we need to add also an else block here, response array, and pass in the message, then close. And also in our index .php. I think we have an error here. So in our form or opening form tag, we have added the action to contact.php. So instead of doing this here, we need to remove this because we're doing all the submission by the jQuery file or the JavaScript file. So save this one, and also in our contact.js, we mistype here is default prevent, so it should be is default prevented. Change that one and save. So it is now time to upload our project online. So you could choose whatever FTP client you're gonna use. So for me, I use the FTP or the FileZilla FTP client. So this is the live version of our contact form, and we're just going to test and send a test message. So we just need to fill out this form. So first name will be John, the last name is Doe, the email is johndoe@gmail.com, and we just need to specify what our specific needs are. So say for example, a request quotation, and for our message, let's just say this is an email from the awesome contact form created by Programming Knowledge, and then click on the send message. Okay, so we have here the nice looking alert, contact form successfully submitted. I will get back to you. So we'll check the email if we got the email from this form. So we have here the test email that we have sent from our contact form. If you can't find the email in your inbox, you can check your spam folder, because sometimes or most of the time, if you have unrecognized domain, it will always end up in the spam folder. So I think that's it for this tutorial. Thanks.